Welcome everyone to another new week of the CFO Swinger Watch. If you guys don't know what this video is about, it's a quick technical analysis video of every name that we'll be watching for this week. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the markets. So SPY has been hitting all-time highs again last week. And so far, it seems like we've been having a little bit of a toppy action here as we formed inverse hammer candlestick last Friday with increased volume. All across the board, we saw a lot of selling going on, even in the mid caps, small caps, large caps like Dow Jones. But one weird thing that I saw was QQQ, the overall tech market was hitting new record highs as well, except they were holding a lot stronger compared to all the other different markets, overall markets. So with SPY, as SPY is dragging everything lower except for those leading tech stocks, I think next week we will see some type of a consolidation again, maybe like the movement that we saw 2 weeks prior, where we see that quick correction of about 5 to 7 points lower. So make sure you guys are staying hedged, like I said last week in the CFO Discord, and make sure you guys are managing your long-term positions as well. All right, so let's go ahead and start with our first ticker here, MQ. So MQ is one of those names that have been mentioned a lot of times on Twitter back in early October due to Andrew Left, the famous shorter, tweeting about it, saying that he's long on this name, and he's done his research to back that up. And so we saw that big volume coming in and a lot of options flow coming in as well, and we hit all-time highs for his name around 37.90. And currently we've been consolidating and losing steam here as we're going lower and lower, eventually hitting almost close to the lows here of 19.78. Now, as we're losing steam here, we're forming a nice descending channel. And this descending channel is a bullish chart pattern. If you guys don't know what that is, go ahead and check out my Beginner's Trading Guide book on my website, as it's basically a book that you need to read before you get into any type of advanced trading or advanced topics or concepts in trading. Okay, so I highly recommend that if you guys are still new to the stock market. Now, with this descending channel, I'm expecting a nice breakout above around 25.20-ish, but most likely 25.10. But with this price level break, we should also be able to see that the 21 SMA here, my light blue line, should be caught up by that point, or at the very least, we should see the price above the 50 SMA. So most likely, I'm going to see a lot of chop between $24 and $25 as we're kind of conforming to this descending channel, and as we're basing below the $25 price level. All right, so make sure you guys are watching out for this descending channel, as we can see a nice big push higher, eventually, hopefully, to $30. Next, we have our second name. Let's get that removed. PayPal. So as you guys already know, I've been looking at PayPal for quite a few weeks, maybe the past few months actually, ever since that pins news came out, or actually that's been a few weeks. So when that pins news came out, that's when PayPal came back on my radar. But I've also noticed before that PayPal has been selling off even before the pins news came out, Pinterest. But overall, PayPal is still a very high alert watch name for me. As if you guys look in the weekly time frame, we've been going straight down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks now. And I wouldn't be surprised if this week we have another red week where we close at a desirable demand zone or area around 180 to around 183.50. All right, so 180 to around 183.50 will be my official buy area. And also, this is my official investment pick as well. So make sure you guys reread the fundamental analysis I've done for PayPal in the newsletter. So don't forget to read that. But with PayPal, I think it has a lot of potential, especially if we come back down to around 180-ish. I believe that's a very, very cheap price for PayPal to get into. PayPal should be around 300 to around 310. Basically back to the previous all-time high numbers. And I think that for a name like this and a company like this, there's a lot of potential for this name to go up higher from where it's currently at right now. So PayPal on the daily time frame as well, we're very oversold, but there is some good selling volume coming in. So I won't touch it until we can finally retest and touch 183.50 and potentially 180. Our third name here is CLF, right? Cliff. You guys already know I've been looking at this name since late August. And so far, it looks like CLF is forming a nice descending wedge or falling wedge here, which is another bullish chart pattern. And on Friday, we got that confirmation when we broke out of this falling wedge above 21.50-ish and above 21.70-ish. So those are the two price levels I was looking at intraday. But as we pushed higher and higher, I was waiting for a rejection around $22, but we kind of overshot that, and then we saw the rejection. And so in order for us to have a nice confirmed uptrend for this week for CLF, we need to stay above $22 and above 22.10 specifically, so that we stay above the 10 SMA as well, since the 10 SMA is now trying to curve underneath the price action here, if and only if we stay above $22. All right, so make sure you guys watching out for this name. The 21 SMA here from my light blue line will also be a formidable resistance as well as we're hitting up higher. So around $22 will be another level of resistance that this name will have to burst through in order to go up higher. But if you continue to go up higher from that point forward, $24 and 24.70-ish should also be a good level to take some profits as well, especially if you get in around 22.10. Okay. And our last name for this week is UPS. So UPS, first of all, making a great bullish flag. If you guys are only going to focus on this little area here, we're also seeing a nice descending channel. So on a macro scale, we're seeing a bullish flag, and a micro scale, we're looking at a descending channel. But overall, as you guys already know, I like to look at the bigger picture. So a bullish flag is what I'm seeing. This flagpole is this impulsive move to the upside. And thanks to this impulsive move to the upside, we actually made all-time highs. And I like the fact that we are actually hanging around the previous all-time high levels as well, back in early May and early July as well. So with the price kind of hanging around here and actually forming a bullish chart pattern, this gives me confidence that we can see new all-time high numbers again, especially if you're able to break out above the weekly supply level here. So around, I would say around 215 to around 217-ish will be our supply level there. But once we're able to clear above 215, we should see a blue sky breakout and eventually hit all the price targets that all these different analysts have as well. And I think the highest I've seen so far was around like $240 or 240 plus. So that could be most likely possible as well, especially if you're able to get in on this little tiny dip that we're seeing, well, quote unquote dip, since we're basically consolidating here and losing some pressure. So if you're able to get back above both the 10 and the 21 SMAs as well, we should see a nice push this week, especially as the holiday hype and demand starts to kick up. All right, so that's it for UPS. And for our last main equity watch, let's take a look at Roku. So Roku is going to be my extra name here, my first extra name. And the reason why I'm liking Roku is very, very simple. All right, so we are, well, especially if you guys are looking at the weekly time frame, and I recommend that you guys look at the weekly time frame. We're looking at this nice descending trendline level. And so far, last week we closed a little bit below it, but I like that because if we overshoot any levels to the downside or to the upside, we tend to bounce or reject respectively. So if we go a little bit lower this week, most likely we can see a very, very big oversold bounce this week. And potentially we can end up with a nice green weekly candlestick. So this is one that I'm going to be watching out for all this week. And if you go back to the daily time frame, a potential bounce entry could be good around 230 or even 234, which is where we closed on Friday. And if you guys want a little bit more of a confirmation to a bounce, a break of 240.50 should also be good as well. And then my second extra watch will be DAL or Delta Airlines. So you guys already know coronavirus cases have been spiking up, and countries like Austria is suddenly on a lockdown. There's been protests over there as well with vaccine mandates and this new lockdown. But overall, I think the travel and leisure stocks are going to be hit more, but I think they're going to be hit a lot less than what we saw initially from the COVID pandemic and the stock market crash, because of the fact that, well, hundreds of millions of people are already vaccinated globally. So, I think, sure, maybe, these airline companies won't see profit as early as they thought they could have seen profits this year or even into the next fiscal year of 2022. But with Delta and other big major airlines like Southwest, American Airlines, and United Airlines, I think that they could fare well into these tailwinds of COVID. And technical wise, they look pretty good as well. So with DAL, we're also looking at a descending channel. So this week we are looking at a lot of descending channels, and if they break to the upside, if and only if, we can potentially see other names rising higher as well. So with a lot of these names showing bullish chart patterns, if we negate these bullish chart patterns by going lower and breaking lower, especially these chart pattern supports, then most likely we can see the broader markets going lower as well. So for DAL, a solid break above the previous high of the day. So the previous high of the day was last Friday's candlestick. So above 39.93. So maybe around 40.10 could be a great entry for this week for DAL. And so for our last equity name will be CCL. So CCL is also showing the same descending channel here. But I would say CCL has a better chance of breaking out because of the fact that we've been going down for a consecutive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days, right? So, or you can say 10 days as well if you include Friday here, since, well, Friday did end up as a green candlestick, but Friday did see a lot of selling volume as well and a lot of buying volume if you just take a look at the buying volume here, right? So with CCL, I also think the same thing as well with DAL. We need to see a break above the previous high of the day on Friday. So above 20.90, so maybe around 21.10 could also be a good entry for CCL. And I was also looking at the flow for CCL, and there seems to be a lot of unusual options activity going on to the call side for CCL. So DAL and CCL can be great trades, especially if you guys have very small trading accounts. These can be very good candidates for this week to the long side. All right, so that's it for the equity picks. Let's take a look at my cryptocurrency pick for this week. YGG. Oops. We go YGG USD. There we go. So YGG has been breaking out immensely over the weekend here and on Friday, and it's right back to the previous level of resistance. So this can be a great entry for you guys as well if you guys want to get in and if you guys haven't been in YGG. And so if you guys are wondering what YGG is, it's also a gaming cryptocurrency. And if you guys haven't been in the cryptocurrency space for a while, gaming cryptocurrencies have been big. If you guys look at Axie Infinity, that's a coin that's around $100 now. So I think YGG also has potential to go in the hundreds since it's already, has hit around above $10 here now. It's double digits, but since it's back to a single digit here, I think it's a great opportunity to get in. We're looking at a nice base resistance around 8.50-ish, and we're about to allow the 10 and the 21 SMAs catch up and support the way up higher. So once the 10 SMA has caught up, I can see another big burst in volume and a lot of buying orders coming in, and eventually pushing us back towards that $10 level. So YGG, I see a lot of potential in this name. Just for a disclaimer, I am still holding all the rest of the cryptocurrency picks I've given you guys as well. So that just means I have a lot of confidence in them, and that I read their white papers as well. So if you guys haven't read their white papers, I highly recommend that you guys do. Okay, so that's it for this week. Good luck trading, especially since this is a very short trading week. Remember, Thanksgiving is on Thursday, so markets are closed for the whole day, and then the following Friday, the markets close at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 11 p.m. for Pacific Standard Time Zone people. All right, so I'll see you guys all in the CFO Discord, and I'll see you guys all next week in next week's CFO Swinger Watch. Good luck.